Hi folks, Colin here, welcome back to the channel, back with more rock and roll. Good to see you as always. Today we're going to have a little look at a little bit of rock and roll history. It took place on July the 6th, 1957, one of the most important days in rock and roll history in many ways. It was the day that Paul McCartney met John Lennon, and how it happened, John Lennon was playing with his band, the Quarrymen, in Woolton in Liverpool. There was a fete. It was just after, it was 1957, so just after the end of austerity and rationing in the UK. It was many years after the Second World War. Britain had no money, and people had to limit what they consumed, so that was lifted eventually. I think it was about 1955. Somebody will correct me in the comments, no doubt. And this was the start of things starting to look up as it moved onwards into the 60s and Britain started to prosper again. So there was a local fete, and a guy called Ivan Vaughan was a mutual friend of Paul McCartney and John Lennon. He played in the Quarrymen from time to time. He played the T-chest bass. So for people who are maybe in other parts of the world, I don't think you always appreciate just how little money people had in the UK, and it was still quite like that back in the 80s when I was growing up. When I was in a band, we didn't have any of our own instruments. We had to borrow instruments, and people used to actually make stuff. We made a drum kit out of various bits and pieces. And in the 50s, the skiffle was all the rage, and the T-chest bass was basically like a box, a timber box with a broom handle on it and a sort of bit of string, and that was how you made a bass. Anyway, so this band, the Quarrymen, John Lennon's band, were playing on the back of a sort of flatbed lorry. They had a little stage set up as part of the fete, and they were the entertainment that day. And there wasn't a lot of information around in those days. If you wanted to listen to rock and roll music, Liverpool was kind of a hub in a sense, because getting hold of the music was so difficult. In America, it was abundant. Every local station played rock and roll, and apparently there was something like 4,000 record labels in America in the late 50s, because everyone was making music. But in Britain, it was really hard to get hold of, and so anyway, John Lennon was playing in this band, and he didn't actually know the words half the time to the songs, because they only would hear them like once or twice on the radio, if they were lucky, and they'd have to kind of absorb that in that like moment, and then that would build into their set. Although they did source records. They used to buy records off some of the sailors coming back on the boats. So anyway, Ivan Vaughan, he persuaded Paul McCartney to go along and listen to this band, because he knew Paul McCartney was a great musician. And so Paul McCartney goes along, listens to the band, and I think he was quite impressed. And after the gig, he was invited backstage to meet John Lennon, and he performed a couple of songs. Obviously I'm not Paul McCartney, but I'll do my best. I'm going to show you how to play the songs as well. So one of the songs is Be-Bop-A-Lula.
Well, Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. Be-Bop-A-Lula, I don't mean maybe. Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. Be-Bop-A-Lula, I don't mean maybe. Be-Bop-A-Lula, she is my baby love, my baby love, my baby love.
So that's just a classic it would have been Cliff Gallup playing that guitar part. Gene Vincent obviously was the singer. So it's in the key of A, and I imagine he would have done something like this. Now apparently Paul McCartney, he's left-handed, so he borrowed a guitar at the rehearsal, at the little gig that he did afterwards, and he had to play it upside down. So he might have just played simple chords. He might have just done that.
Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby.
So he's probably just playing an A chord, sort of 2-2-2 on D, G, B, and then I'm pretty sure he would have been doing that kind of riff. It's a classic rock and roll riff. So hammering on to 4 on the D. So you're playing the A and the D at the same time.
Well, Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. Be-Bop-A-Lula, I don't mean maybe.
You'd probably go up to D.
Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. Be-Bop-A-Lula, I don't mean maybe. Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby, love my baby, love my baby, love.
So that was the first song he played. The second song apparently was 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran. So it's got an absolutely iconic riff, and I'm pretty sure he would have played that, albeit upside down. So again, it's in the key of A, so you don't need a huge knowledge of chords to get into rock and roll. So it's 2-2-2 on the D, G, B again, and then we're going to hit 3 to 4 on the A. So you're hitting that 2-2-2. So you play open as well, and then 3-4 on the A, and then you hit that 2-2-2 again.
Well, I got a girl with a wrecking machine. When it comes to rockin', she's the queen. I love to dance on a Saturday night. All alone I can hold her tight, but she lives on 20th floor uptown. The elevator's broken down, so I'll walk 1, 2, flight 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, flight 8, 5 more. On the 12th I'm starting to sag. 15 floor, it's getting a drag. At the top, I'm too tired to rock.
So basically, do that first riff, and then that's the introduction, and then it just continues.
I got a girl with a racket machine. When it comes to rockin', she's the queen.
Then we're going to try and do the same thing. How did I do it again? So you play the D chord, and then you're going to go take that second finger, and then play again. You're playing 3-4, but this time on the D string. So take my second finger off the D, put it on the 3rd fret of the off the E, put it on the 3rd fret of the D, hammer on the pinky. First riff. And then for the E, I just play the 2-2 on the E and the D string with my first finger, and then that leaves my second finger to play the 3 and the 3rd finger to play the 4 on the bottom string.
Well, I got a girl with a wrecking machine. When it comes to rockin', she's the queen. I love to dance on a Saturday night. All alone I can hold her tight, but she lives on the 20th floor uptown. The elevator's broken down, so I'll walk 1, 2, flight 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, flight 8, 5 more. On 12 I'm starting to sag. 15 floor, it's getting the drag. Get the top, I'm too tired to rock.
So when I do those little riffs, it's just like you're just playing a sort of rock and roll riff. So open D twice, 3 on the D, 4 on the D, 2 on the G, 4 on the G, back to 2. Then the same thing on the A. So it's just up a string, open A, 3, 4, 2 on the D, 4, 2 on the D. Just the same thing up a string for the E. I don't know what chord that is. So that is me playing 4 on the D, G, and 5 on the B, E. So we've got F sharp, D sharp, E and A. that chord is. It's a lovely sort of, it's probably a 6/13 or something like that, is that right? Okay folks, that's it. More rock and roll next week. Keep tuning in, keep commenting, keep subscribing. I appreciate all the comments and thanks very much for watching. See you next time, keep rocking.